Welcome back. All right, so another news of the day video for all you fine people. This time I've got the door to the room in the video, and you can see there's still boxes. There's a lot of work still being done. So while the Jersey wall is up, the other walls have not been completed yet. There's work to be done in here. So again, it's still a work in progress. And so thank you guys for tuning in every day. It means a lot. And people are understanding mostly. Again, most people understanding that going through a move, it takes a while to get everything set up and get all the acoustics to where you want them to be, although it's much better than what it was in here at the beginning. So that being said, let's go ahead and get into today's news, talking about Casey DeSmith. The Penguins revealing today that Casey DeSmith isn't coming back for the rest of the playoffs. He had core muscle surgery today, so he's done for the rest of the playoffs. So this absolutely amps up the pressure on Jari, who, of course, we haven't heard anything about Jari being close to returning either. So it's Louis Domingue's net for right now. And so for the Rangers, it's a situation where you don't celebrate it. You don't celebrate a goalie getting injured, but it definitely makes things look like they could be a lot easier for the Rangers than we might have anticipated, right? So DeSmith being out is too bad because he did play well, and now it really is up to Louis Domingue to prove he can be as good of a goaltender as he can as a chef. And again, I like Domingue. He's a good guy. He's one of my favorite players. I hope he performs well. That series, of course, starts again tomorrow. That's where we'll have game 3, and it'll be interesting to see how that one turns out. All right, next item, Arizona. So the Coyotes officially signed the deal on Wednesday, which is 3 years with Arizona State University and the option for a fourth if the Tempe Arena is not in place by then. So there's some time here. Of course, the Tempe Arena is still in flux because the city council is waiting on some information from the Coyotes. They want some clarifications before they sign off on it. Of course, the threat is as well that if they don't sign off on it, the Coyotes can just find an um, an alternate setup, which wouldn't benefit the city, but could definitely add to some costs for the city. So for the Coyotes, this storyline continues to be a thing. Glendale's done, and so yeah, the capacity is listed as 4,700. So again, hockey players have definitely expressed some concerns. The PA got involved at one point. There was a big meeting between the players and ownership where they were, looking for answers. We'll see if those meetings happen again during the summer or how this affects things going into next year for the Coyotes. Because again, 3 years is a long time. 4 years potentially a long time as well. So it's a while they're going to be in this situation, and then there's no guarantee yet. And I know that it likely does happen, but there's no guarantee right now that they're going to have that new building to move into as of yet. All right. Also, if you're a Blues fan, the news isn't great. No Bortuzzo, no Letty tonight. Scandella is considered to be a game time decision, so he may play. The Blues defense, of course, being banged up. It's not the first time that's happened this season. Likely won't be the last either. But for the Blues, they just have to come out and find a way to find that win against the Wild tonight. Will that defense, having those injuries they're dealing with, will it cause them to struggle against a pretty potent Minnesota team led by Kaprizov? We'll find out tonight. But again, I do feel like this series has gone back and forth twice in the first 2 games. I don't see any reason why I can't swing back. And so, yeah, it'll be an interesting one to watch tonight. Also, the New York Rangers, some rough news for them. Barclay Goodrow is week to week. Johnny Goodrow will be mentioned in this news video, but Barclay Goodrow is what I'm talking about right now. So Barclay Goodrow is week to week with a lower body injury. That's not great news. The good news is Tyler Mott seems to be getting closer. So if you're a Rangers fan, losing Goodrow is definitely going to be tough. But considering Pittsburgh's without DeSmith, I think you'd rather be a team that's trying to find the replacement for Goodrow than playing without both your top 2 goaltenders. So again, we'll see if that affects the Rangers' penalty kill, how that affects the Rangers' bottom 6. But I think they're going to be able to handle that and probably absorb that just fine. The Rangers have been good so far. All right, Toronto news on their lineup. Spets is in, Simmons is out. Hall is in, Lindgren's out now, or Liljegren's out. So Liljegren being out and Hall being in, Hall does have more experience than Liljegren at the NHL level, and Spezza being in and Simmons being out tells you they're going more towards a skill game than the toughness game. And so this is that evolution you have during a series. It is an adjustment. We'll see how it goes for them. The Tampa Bay Lightning, absolutely a team with a lot of depth, a lot of skill. And without Simmons in the lineup, we'll see if that affects how they approach their game. And of course, there'll be those that agree with the decision. There'll be those that don't agree with the decision. But the Leafs have made that decision, and we'll see how things turn out tonight. Going towards a more skill game could work, especially on the road in Tampa. We shall find out soon enough. Next up, Kochetkov is going to be the starter tonight for Carolina, but Canes fans, the other good news is that Raanta will be the backup. So Ranta's injury can't be that bad. He's not well enough to start, but he's well enough to back up, meaning that if he has to go in, he's able to go in, but he is backing up tonight. So that's, I mean, it's not fantastic news. Of course, fantastic news would be Anderson's healthy, Ranta's healthy, and you're good to go. But it's better than it could have been, right? With the collision between he and Pastrnak, it absolutely could have been that Raanta was out for a while. If he's backing up tonight, that means it's not a concussion. So that's the good news, because at the time it looked like it could end up being a concussion. If it's not, then he should be okay, and we might see him in, say, Game 4. But Kochetkov played very well in relief. Very solid appearance by him. And so we'll see tonight whether or not Kochetkov can follow that up with another one against Jeremy Swayman. Speaking of the Bruins, of course, the lineup is going to change for them. So Lindholm is not playing. Again, watching that play, I was like, yeah, that looks like a concussion. So I don't expect him back in the series. But we'll see, because again, it's playoffs, so guys play through weird things. But it means that Mike Riley's in the lineup with Lindholm out. That absolutely is a downgrade. No offense to Riley, but I do consider that a downgrade on the blue line at a time where the Bruins need need to put their best foot forward. Chris Wagner will be in the lineup. Trent Frederick's going to be a healthy scratch tonight, so that shakes up the line with Smith and Coyle. That's the line that it appears Wagner's going to be playing on. Or no, Nosak's going to be playing on that third line. So yeah, they're shaking things up. Bruce Cassidy saying that the score wasn't indicative of the play, and the games were closer than that. And having watched them, my answer to that would be, okay, Bruce, I hope he's right. I do. I hope he's right, but that sounds kind of optimistic. It looked to me like Carolina had things pretty handled in Game 1, and then in Game 2, they came out and pretty much handled them again. So there we go with the Boston Bruins stuff, and we'll see whether or not Bruce Cassidy's moves help. Again, going with Swayman, I think should. Between the two, and again, they're very close, I still would probably have gone with Swayman right out of the gate. But Cassidy has a lot of experience, and so, yeah, I definitely defer to his judgment on the matter. Okay, so San Jose letting us know that next week there'll be a press conference regarding the future for Patrick Marleau. Marleau did not play this year. So my guess is Marleau's signing a one-day contract to retire as a San Jose Shark. That's my guess just based on that information. It makes a lot of sense. For Marleau, he played a ton of hockey games. It'll be interesting to do a career video on Marleau and discuss that and just the number of games played. And does that get him into the Hall of Fame? Does he have enough points? Does he have enough accolades? Did he play at a high enough level for long enough to get into the Hall of Fame? My guess is he gets in. Is it first ballot? Is it later? That's something we will definitely discuss when we look over his career and we go through season by season, right? All right. Next up, Oettinger. Oettinger honestly has been hot and cold throughout the year, but he's been the best goaltender for Dallas in terms of consistency throughout the season. Holtby had a pretty good start, but overall it's been Ottinger's net, and he saves 55 out of 56 against the Flames. That's a pretty good start to the series. I would say that Ottinger's turn has helped Dallas get to this 1-1 tie in the series. We'll see whether or not they can win another one in this series when we get to Game 3 tomorrow. I'm not 100% convinced that they can, but, again, they've surprised me before. Maybe they'll surprise me. At the very least, we can all agree they won't make it easy. There's no such thing as a 5-0, 6-0 win for Dallas. That doesn't seem to exist. There's very close, very tight checking, very defensive style, and it can be tough. And I understand there's some people who might be bored by the series, but I wasn't bored with last night's game. I thought it was better with more flow and more opportunities than we saw in game one. I thought it was a better overall game. That being said, the Flames also are not worried. Johnny Goodrow coming out and saying that they're not worried. They had some 2-on-1s. They had a breakaway or two. They had the opportunities, just a matter of putting them in the net. So it's the age-old story of you're okay as long as you're still generating opportunities, you're playing your game. When you're not generating those opportunities, that's when your team's in trouble. So he's saying basically the Calgary Flames are fine. They're not worried about, and again, this time of year, you're not going to find very many players who will actually say, "Oh man, we are scared to death. We can't believe it's not going to happen." But being positive and putting that positivity out towards the press when you're asked about something like that, hey, good on Johnny Hockey for that. And of course, for the Calgary Flames, if they can win Game 3, I think it was Toffoli that said they were going to Dallas looking to win Games 3 and 4. Well, yeah, everybody wants to win every game in the playoffs. That's kind of how it works. We'll see whether or not the Flames can break through and score on Oettinger, because it's been tough so far. And while again, it's definitely, I think, more fun for fans of the two teams watching it than it would be for somebody else. I do think that there will be more scoring as the series goes on. It is interesting to me, though, how some series have a ton and some don't. But again, it goes back to what I was talking about in a recent video where I said each game, each series has its own personality, which with videos, I'm trying to give each video its own personality too when it comes to the news videos, because it's something different. Even something as small as being able to just turn this, to me, is huge, because in the old house, on the old set, it had gotten to the point where I didn't have room to turn things around. I didn't have room to really adjust things on the fly, and now I do. So that's kind of fun. And so there you go. Thank you guys so much for all your support, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Let me know your thoughts regarding any of the items in this video. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, because if you don't, then, I cry and all that. We don't want that. So anyways, there you go. Thanks again for all your support. I'll talk to you again soon. I said again a lot.